I'm going to talk about Mi Note 2 first, and you'll be able to start peeking down here and see the product, but I'll give you a close-up look in just a little bit. So the story for Mi Note 2 starts with Mi Note. Mi Note is a product that we launched last year in January. Many of you are already familiar with it. Mi Note became very familiar for its 3D curved glass. It was the first device in the world to ship with a curved glass on the back of the device, which was a pretty important change from the typical 2.5D glass technology that was more common at the time. It was heavily lauded by people around the world. Our friend Walt Mossberg called it a drop-dead gorgeous phone, and it really was. And Mi Note 2 is here to upgrade the Mi Note experience, take it to a new level by adding curves to the front side as well. That's why we talk about Mi Note 2 curved to impress. That's the product slogan. So Mi Note 2 has dual-sided curves. It's got a curved glass 3D on the back, curved glass 3D on the front as well, thanks to a special kind of display technology which we're going to talk about today. So here's what it looks like on the front. You can see this nicely curved surface. This is a design pattern that's obviously not new to the industry. We were the first ones with a curved back design. We're not the first ones with a front curved design, but we certainly are embracing this new technology or design pattern from the industry. And this is what it looks like in the back. What's beautiful about it when you look at it on the side, because you have these two curved glasses that meet in the center, it's just an incredibly good hand feel. It feels great when you hold this device, and you'll see that in a second. We use 7 series aluminum for the metal frame, which basically connects the front and the back glass, as you can see here. So it's this beautiful, balanced aesthetic. It looks really fantastic. It's available in 2 colors, which I'll show you actually right now. The first one is piano black, which is this really sort of intense, beautiful black color that's also very glossy. It's what I have here in my hands. You can see here in the back the beautiful glossy piano black, and it's just really it's beautiful. It has sort of this really significant statement, right? It's a full black device, especially if you have a darker theme. It gives you black and black, so it's a gorgeous device, and you can notice right away what the effect that the curve on the front and the back gives you, especially in this black color with the aluminum here on the sides. It gives you just really great hand feel. Why? Because the device actually feels even thinner than it actually is, given that you have curves on both sides. So this is the piano black color that you see here. It's kind of a mirror-like finish, and it looks pretty fantastic. The second color is what we call glacier silver. Why glacier silver? Because it's what it looks like. I've never actually seen a glacier up front, but I heard that this is close enough. This is definitely my favorite color. So it's this really, really interesting silver, almost blue sort of variant of gray. Also this sort of mirror-like finish. In the back, you can see here the detail, which I really like on the camera, which is also sort of surrounded by this silverish gray, and it looks really, really beautiful. What it looks like on the side. Obviously, the aluminum is more pronounced because we're actually have it in more natural metallic. On the bottom here, we have our fingerprint sensor. This is a mechanical fingerprint sensor with a ceramic cover. And I'll talk a little bit more about the screen. But great hand feel. So this is the glacier silver and the piano black for Mi Note 2. Let's keep going. This is what they look like together. You can appreciate how gorgeous this design is. Let's talk a bit about how to get to that front curve on the display. Of course, having a curve in the back just means you have to have curved glass. But when you do it in the front, of course, you have to do more than that. An LCD display cannot flex to fit to that curve. So LCD technology just isn't an option here. That's why we've actually gone with a flexible OLED display technology. OLED has many advantages. One of the most important advantages, and certainly the most important advantage for Mi Note 2, is the fact that it can actually curve behind the curved 3D glass for this perfect fit. And this animation that you're looking at right now is actually a real OLED display that's actually connected to the circuit board here, so it's displaying a real image, and you can see how it's actually flexible. It's pretty amazing. Try to do that with an LCD, and it breaks. What else? A 5.7-inch display, so it's a large screen. It doesn't actually feel as large as it actually is because of the curved display, right? So it goes all the way to the edge. What tends to determine how big a phone is, it's its width, of course, because that's how you hold a phone. So if we're bleeding the display almost all the way to the edge, you basically gain more room. So it's a 5.7-inch display, but it actually feels a bit more like a 5.5-inch when you hold it. So really great hand feel because of that flexible display. Speaking of hand feel, one of the most important things is screen to body ratio. So we do a quick comparison here. Mi Note 2 gives you over 77% screen to body ratio, which is a metric that most people are pretty familiar with right now, compared with, for example, the iPhone 7 Plus, which gives you just under 68%, which is already pretty good, but 77% is obviously much better. Quite a few other interesting things to say about the display. In addition to the screen to body ratio, really great color range. Typically we measure color range by talking about the NTSC color scale. This display technology, OLED, allows us to go beyond NTSC, so it's 110% NTSC color gamut, more colors, if you will, that can be represented. OLED is very well known for its contrast ratio, 100,000 to 1 contrast ratio. So we got this beautiful popping color and brightness on this display. Sunlight display and reading mode, these are staples features of all Mi phones, so that you get just great visibility when you're outside, and you can also get just a very comfortable reading mode when you're indoors, and especially at night. Mi Note 2 ships, it's our second, in fact third device to ship with Snapdragon 821, which is the latest flagship out there. I guess it became pretty famous as of the last couple of weeks, since it's the processor that ships on the awesome Google Pixel. What's worth mentioning here is that we're using the performance version of Snapdragon 821, which is clocked at 2.35 gigahertz. That's the same clock speed that we're using on Mi 5S Plus, versus the standard clock speed for Snapdragon 821, which you'll see out there in a few devices, including the Google Pixel, right? So performance versus standard version for Snapdragon 821. We're shipping a couple of variants for Mi Note 2. The one that I prefer, my favorite, is the one that ships with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of NFS 2.0 flash. Right, so it gives you tons and tons of room for all of your content. I was wondering what that face was. Like, what is Danny doing? He was getting excited. All right. Okay, so very important. This is something that all of our Mi fans are already familiar with. Battery size, right? We are pretty serious about giving you battery life beyond even 24 hours. So with Mi Note 2, we're taking that to a new level with a battery that's over 4,000 milliamp hours, and it supports Quick Charge 3.0, which is the fastest charging standard in the industry. So this device gives you fantastic capabilities. All right, we support full NFC functionality with Mi Note 2. We do read, we do write, we do card emulation, as well as P2P. So you get all the functionality that you want. Of course, we're already deploying Mi Pay here in China. So this is another device in our portfolio that supports Mi Pay. Fly through some of these features just to keep it short. We have an audio processor that supports HD audio on Mi Note 2, and a special kind of GPS sensor here, which is obviously a high precision GPS as usual, but it has built-in sensor assisted positioning, which some people just call SAP, which helps your GPS get a much faster fix, and it helps it when it doesn't have a fix. So for example, if you're traveling, and you go through a tunnel, normally you would just lose signal when you're in the tunnel. Some apps like Google Maps are pretty smart, they kind of figure that out, but in general, you lose GPS. With sensor-assisted positioning, even when you don't have a satellite fix, you still get a projected GPS that's provided by the hardware almost as if you continue to have satellite coverage. So it's pretty seamless for the apps that are using that information. Just to quickly sum up here the features of Mi Note 2. Obviously the two-sided dual curves is the most important thing. Snapdragon 821, clocked at 2.35 gigahertz, 6 plus 128 for memory, large battery over 4,000 milliamp hours with quick charge 3.0, HD audio, GPS with sensor-assisted positioning, and full NFC. So let me just take a pause here to say hi to everyone who just joined us. If you guys are here watching us on Facebook, please share on your feed so that more folks can join us. And also please feel free to send me your comments and your questions. Sadiq is just asking me how about the camera. I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that in just a little bit. In fact, I'll do it right now. Ha! Nice, man. Okay. So Mi Note 2 ships with a pretty awesome sensor. So it's a, we're like precision here. So it's a 22.56 megapixel. How about that, Danny? 22.56 megapixels. Awesome! It's a Sony IMX318, which is one of the latest Sony sensors out there. So it is super high resolution, f2.0 aperture. And obviously with that kind of resolution, you get really, really great photography. In fact, you can go in 4 times. You can zoom in 4 times and you still get the same resolution that you would get with a normal, sort of traditional 13-ish megapixel camera. So it's great for photos. And on top of that, we're shipping for the first time on one of our devices, electronic image stabilization, which is a slightly different kind of technology from what we've used in other products. We've used OIS before, this is EIS, and it's particularly great for video stabilization, particularly 4K video. Just to explain how this works, it has a dedicated gyroscope, a gyroscope that's just for the camera module. So it can really detect jitter instantly and compensate that in real time, right? So this is done electronically, there's no moving parts here per se. And this is what it looks like sort of with and without stabilization. You can see, obviously it makes a pretty big difference even if you're just walking around. So that's EIS. Love the camera on Mi Note 2. We have quite a few photos. It's a bit hard to see them here because you're dealing with maybe 720p or at best 1080p. But when you look at the photos that we're going to post, I'll have a few of them shared later on my own Facebook page, and you'll be able to see how beautiful these photos are. They look really, really great. And we always share them with original exit information, so you can look at it for yourself. Selfies is another pretty awesome thing about Mi Note 2. There's some new stuff in here. So obviously over there is our front-facing camera, right here. So this is an 8 megapixel shooter, but here's the cool thing. This is the first time we had an autofocus camera on the front. I think Louis likes that one. So autofocus camera on the front. Now why would you need autofocus on the front? Well, not every selfie, not every photo you take with the front camera is at the same focus plane. So also, usually what you'll get is something that works for most selfie cameras. It works just great at a certain distance, a little bit less or a little bit more, and you're gonna get blurriness. You're gonna get some blur. So we're just using autofocus so that regardless of how far you are from the sensor, you may have a big group selfie, you may have a close-up selfie, you're still gonna get great focus on the key subject. Right, so that's 8 megapixel autofocus camera on the front side of Mi Note 2, which is right here. So this gives you great focus. We're also upgrading Beautify with 3.0. So Beautify 3.0 gives you more features. For example, it makes your lips look better. This is particularly great for girls, of course, since you'll just get a pinker, more beautiful lips, even if you're not wearing makeup. Another great feature for group selfies that we have on Mi Note 2. Basically, without you even knowing, when you take this selfie, the phone will capture a few different snaps almost instantly. And with just basic face recognition technology, it'll figure out which face to get from where. It's very common for people to blink. Obviously, synchronized blinking isn't really a thing. So you got to get one image from one image from each of these, and you combine them into a sort of quote-unquote perfect shot. So that's pretty cool. So lots of other details here if you guys want to check it out about the two cameras on Mi Note 2. This is a big one. This is a big one. I'm going to take a pause here, and I just wanted to say hello to everyone who just joined us here on Facebook. We are streaming live, and we have quite a few people join us already. Tons of questions coming in. Alan, Mix is coming up. Give us a little bit more time. And if you have any questions, by all means, just fire them away, and I'll try to catch them as we go here. I'm going to talk about my favorite feature on Mi Note 2. You know, I've been working here at Xiaomi for 3 years. It's been a great ride. And of course, I travel a lot. Sometimes in the United States, sometimes I'm in other parts of Asia. I'm in India a lot of India Mi fans here. I travel to Europe, go home to Brazil pretty often. And what I often have to deal with is I arrive in a new country and bam, I'm on edge on my Mi phone, whatever that phone is. So we are really growing our efforts around RF, antenna design, modem technology, so that we can actually support every band in the world. So Mi Note 2 very proudly is the first Mi phone that ships with global LTE support. In fact, we ship with 37 bands, includes 22 LTE global bands. Now that is quite something, and I'll tell you guys, it's not easy to do that. The magic that our RF team has to go through to be able to construct antennas that are well optimized for all of these bands is really something quite significant. So that means you'll be able to roam anywhere around the world when you get a Mi Note 2, which is pretty awesome. And you'll be able to gift it to your friends as well, and it'll work wherever they are. This is especially important for US. You'll be able to get full-on LTE on T-Mobile and AT&T, which is great news for our fans in the US and for people who travel a lot like I do. So this is great news. To give you a little bit more specific, we support bands across 6 different types. GSM, CDMA, including 1X EVDO, WCDMA, which is kind of sort of the new thing, TDS CDMA, TDD LTE, and FDD LTE. So this basically gives us coverage everywhere. Really cool stuff. And if you really want to geek out on the bands, I've already posted this slide. You can check it out. Just go to my page and you can see each one of the bands. And you can tell us if anything is missing from here. So we're in pretty good shape. Mi Note 2 is also our first device to support 3XCA. What the hell does that mean? That means carrier aggregation across 3 different frequency bands. What that means is you may be in a city where the carrier only has bits and pieces of the spectrum. Well, what we do is we stitch together, obviously this is carrier infrastructure, stitch together bits and pieces of spectrum in different frequencies, and you use that continuously as if it was just a single frequency band. So that gets you to 4G plus, over 600 megabits per second, also known as LTE Advanced, which is pretty awesome. Again, if you want to geek out on the full specs, go for it. This is already on my Facebook page. This slide gives you more than your dreams have ever asked for. Sorry, I didn't create enough suspense here. Price for Mi Note 2 starts at $27.99 for the basic model, and it goes all the way up to $34.99 for the highest model. If you want to get global bands, this is the model that you want to get. It's the 6 gig model for $34.99. That's coming out pretty soon, and I hope you like it. That's Mi Note 2, which is curved to impress. Another summary slide here for you guys to enjoy. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm going to give you a very quick summary. We just talked about Mi Note 2, which has this pretty amazing dual curve design. It's like 4 curves. It's curve, 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 so that it gives you an amazing hand feel. Flexible OLED display, which is what allows the front of the device to be curved. Snapdragon 821, the fastest version, the performance version of 821, which is clocked at 2.35 gigahertz, 22.56, so over 22 megapixels on the back. We have an 8 megapixel autofocus camera on the front. It's a new thing. It's an 8 megapixel autofocus selfie camera. Very large battery, over 4,000 UVA hours. Doesn't even feel like it because it's quite light and it's really thin. Supports quick charge 3.0, so even if you run out of battery, which is not all that likely within the first 24 hours, you're still good. That's quick charge 3.0. And my favorite feature, which I was just talking about, the 6 gig version of Mi Note 2 supports global bands, 37 bands, including 22 LTE bands. Basically gives you 4G pretty much anywhere around the world. Awesome device. It's here for people who are travelers, who love technology.